Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on UpTalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say UpTalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you're new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
Job profiles, what does what? What do the job profiles do? What do the job profiles do? Job profiles give you a different characteristics of the job. We've built up all the information about that particular job, the responsibilities, the job description, the qualifications needed, the skills needed, the experience needed in that particular job profile. That is where we define it in absolute detail. Now, there may be different job profiles in the organization. Then they will end up creating a lot of job profiles, isn't it? A lot of job profile even for the same kind of role. Let's say for the HR department, there may be one her generalist, one her manager, one her supervisor, one recruitment specialist, one recruiting supervisor, and on. One compensation partner, one benefits partner there. Can be many different people in the her department itself. How do we distinguish between the roles and responsibilities on each and every person, and how do we create specialized job profiles for that? That is what we will cover. But then we also see that there will be a lot of different job profiles that would be created, isn't it? Again, how do we group and them together? How do we organize them together? We will group them into something called as a job family. We will group the job profiles into something called as job family. Now let's say you have, let me take an example here. Let me pull up my notepad. Let's create some job profiles. Let's say SAP HCM consultant, SAP finance consultant, SAP materials consultant, all, and then you have an Oracle HCM consultant, Oracle finance consultant, and you have Oracle middleware consultant, or maybe an Oracle admin, and then you have a Workday HCM consultant, you have a Workday finance consultant, you have a Workday, let's say, integrations consultant. All these are the 7, 4, 3, 10 different job profiles that we have created in this organization. Large organization, they are having all these different kinds of technology. They are looking for people with these skills now in each of these job profiles. Details have been mentioned that in SAP HANSEAM consultant, we need 5 years of SAP consulting experience. Management experience is necessary. SAP HANSEAM certification is desired, and on. They have put that all those details here. Now, how can we group these job profiles? How can we logically group these job profiles? One way of grouping can be based on the, let's say, up, or this can be one way of grouping. All the SAPs can be in one. We will say SAP jobs. In SAP jobs, we will put all the SAP different job profiles that we have. Similarly, we will have one for Oracle jobs, and we might have one for Workday jobs. This is a very good way of Grouping, isn't it? Why? Because let's say, let me try to do it this way. Oops, I knew this would happen. Let me put it here. Now, why is this important? Because maybe in the recruitment team, you have specialized recruiters who are good with these kind of job roles and responsibility. I mean, this kind of ups. Maybe you have some specialized recruiters only for Oracle type of jobs. If you group them together, if you group all these different job profiles together, then that team may look into these particular job profiles. Any other way of grouping them may be based on the functions it is. From the sun may be based on these functions, or let's say from specialty. Just putting something. Or not functions, it's a functionality or specialty. We can say all the HCM jobs are together in HCM jobs. We create a different job family. This is a job family. This is a job family, and we are putting all the HCM jobs, SAP HCM consultant will be part of this particular job family, and then Oracle HCM consult and work the HCM consultant. All these can be grouped together because these jobs might require some similar kind of skill set, although the ERP is different, but let's say the underlying functional knowledge is more or less the same, just a tool is different. We can maybe group them based on the functionality. Hex team jobs are together, then your finance jobs are together. Integration and middleware jobs are together, and maybe admin job is different. This is something that we can use to group them. Now I have not mentioned any location for these job profiles, but maybe we can also group them based on the location. India job. In one place at Bangalore jobs, one place as jobs. We will create a broadest jobs job family, and then from there we will say New York jobs and California jobs and Texas jobs and on. We are just grouping these job profiles into some logical families. A job family is a grouping of job profiles. And remember that one job profile can belong to one or more job families. It can be it can belong to more than one job families, depends on how you want to group them together. Now we need to them together, that is organized in that way that we will send them these job groups. Our job family is based on maybe the technology or functionality, or maybe location. It's here that can be one, or when we do our compensation, we would also see that we might have to give some special allowance to a group of job profiles. Let's say that the Workday jobs are quite hot, or I mean, it's difficult to find people in Workday jobs now. What we will do, we will give a special allowance to our existing Workday consultants. All Workday consultants in our organization will get a special allowance. How do we identify all Workday consultants? How do we identify all the consultants based on the job profile? Based on their job profile, we will identify all. The book, the consultants, if we group them together into a job family called Workday jobs, then we can give that special allowance to our Workday consultants. I don't have to individually go into each and every worker and give them the allowance. I will just group them together based on the job family. A job family is a grouping of job profiles, and one job profile can belong to one or more job families. Similarly, a job family group is a collection of job families. Many job families can be grouped together into a job family. Now, the only difference in this relationship is one job family can belong to only one job. Family group one job. Family can belong to only one job family group. This is different than what we have than the relationship between job profile and job family, where one job profile may belong to multiple job families. Let's quickly summarize this. A job family group is a collection of job families. A job family is a grouping of job profiles. And what is the job profile? A job file describes the basic job characteristics and conditions of employment, such as the required skills, training, work experience, etc. And a job profile can be assigned to one or more job families. A job family can be assigned to only one job family group. Let's take a look at this graphic where you see there are multiple individual positions in jobs now. Remember when we were creating our position yesterday, we also used a job profile, that of a training manager, and then we use a stop of a training manager when we set the actions in our job management organization. What happens is using the same job profile, we may hire multiple people. We may create multiple positions based on the same job profile. By little, positions can be created using the same job profile. Here we were talking about the individual positions and jobs using the same job profile. We may create multiple positions or jobs, and then we can you see here Jane, Jojuan and James, they have different positions or jobs, but all based on the same job profile, that is legal administrative assistant. And we may have multiple job profiles for administrative assistants, administrative assistant, senior administrative assistant, legal administrative assistant, and on. And then we can group them all together into a job family called administrative assistants, and then administrative assistants can be part of the job family group called administrative workers. This is just a depiction. This is just an example. We may use something this to group our job profilers. Let's create a job profile in Workday. We were using something training manager, but we did not create one for ourselves. Let's create one. Job profile is, it has a lot of possibilities. We will be able to put in a lot of information in a job profile. But then, while I'm proxying going to that screen, let me tell you this. We recently did a finance implementation for a large insurance customer. They were just doing Workday Finance. They did not want to do Workday HCM. Then what happened? But still, even if they are doing finance, they have to bring in some people. They have to hire some people. They set up their HCM. But at the bare minimum, they just created the supervisory organization structures. They created job profiles and they just hired those workers in those job profiles. They only mentioned their absolute bare minimum of the configurations. That is also possible for customers. But then we again on the other hand, we implemented a MN for a customer and they put in a lot of details in the job profile. They made it absolutely very detail oriented. It can be on either end of the spectrum. You can put in the minimum details in the job profile to get started, or you can put in a lot of information and make it as close to reality as possible. It's up to the organization to decide how much detail they want to put in to create a job profile. The task is create job profile, create job profile. And in that you give an effective date from what date you want to create this job profile. Let me give today's date as the effective date, if 15th, and then you start putting in details. If I scroll down, you see that only the job profile name is the mandatory field. Do you see anything else as mandatory? And slowly scroll down. Nothing else is mandatory. You just need to fill in the job profile name and you are done. That is the basic minimum. Let's give it a job profile name. Let's call it as, what shall we call it? Chief Executive Officer. Let's just call it Chief Executive Officer. This is our first job profile. Now the job code. Do you want to have a job code? If you already have a job code, maybe you are using some other system and there it's typical to use a job code. Yes, if you want, if you have that job code, you fill it up already. If you do not have a job code, if you want Workday to create one for you, just say include job code in the name, include job code in the name. Then what it will do, it will create a job code for you and it will include it as part of the name as if you, but if you do not want to include it as part of the name, just leave it blank. What they will create a job code for you anyway. But still, let's have include job code as part of the name. Now, do you want to restrict this job profile to any specific country? The CO is only, we will hire the CO only between United States and I will not open this job profile in any other country. Only these two countries I will be able to hire this. I mean this job profile. This will be only accessible to these two countries, us and OK. Nothing else. If you do not want to restrict it when to any country, leave it blank. Management level. What will be the management level? Let's choose from our list. We see one is the Chief Executive Officer. We can choose this one. Chief Executive Officer is our management level. And if you have a job family already, if you have created job families already, then you can put this particular job profile into that job family, but we are not going to put it there. We have not created our job family yet. We will leave it as blank job category, job family, job. Category can be direct labor or indirect labor, but here people have renamed that direct labor to indirect labor or anyway. Direct labor versus indirect labor. To what is a direct labor versus what is an indirect labor? Direct labor means that you are straight away able to account for the cost. Let's say somebody is a production line worker. Somebody's working in the factory, that this person's daily output has to be, let's say, 100 pens. 100 pens, it is directly measurable. 100 pence, you pay this worker the wages based on 100 pence. This is absolutely direct labor. You can straight away quantify how much work this person is doing. But now think about your IT architect, or maybe your recruiter, maybe your benefits partner. Is it possible to directly quantify how much work they are doing? Not possible. We have to come up with other forms. Are they adding any value to the organization? Are they adding to any efficiency and on? But it is not possible to directly measure how much work they are doing on a daily basis. And they are not directly earning revenue for the organization. Mostly they are support functions. For example, even the CEO is a support function. The management team, your supervisor was, your managers, they are all part of support functions. They are not direct labor. Your your manufacturing work level workers are direct labor. Maybe your sales are direct labor. They are directly earning their revenue for the organization. But all the support functions, HR, IT, the management staff, they are all indirect labor. You may want to categorize that this job family, this job is a direct labor or indirect labor. Workers such as accountants, supervisors, security guards directly produce goods or services, but who make their production possible or more efficient. They are the ones which are indirect labor. Indirect labor costs are not readily identifiable with a specific task or work order. Is it possible to tell how much value a supervisor or a security guard is contributing to the organization? You might say, of course, a security guard's contribution is immense because they are protecting the assets of the organization. It's immense, but can you put a direct number to it? How much does a security guard contribute on a daily basis to the organization? Difficulties. Difficult to put a number, but can we say that as someone on the shop floor who is actually producing goods, how much they are actually working, we may be able to accurately quantify that. That is direct labor, but other workers, accountants, supervisors, our management, they are all indirect labor. Then we come to company insider type. What is a company insider? Have you heard about the term company insider? Let's say you are part of the management, or maybe you are the owner of a company. You are part of some discussions which will affect the stock price. Let's say your performance, the organization's performance is very bad, very bad. If that information comes out in the market, your stock price will crash. Correct, may happen because your performance is very bad. Your organization's performance is quite bad. Once the financial reports or financial statements are made public, then your stock price will crash. But you have that information, you hold that information to yourself because you are the owner. Now what? You do. You manipulate your market somehow and you sell off your stocks and then you publish the news. Then what happens? You minimize your loss because even before the stock has crashed, you have sold all your shares now. Is that legal? Is that fair? Not fair. And not fair because you had that information, you used it to your advantage. Remember the famous or the infamous, I should say, case about Roger Gupta. He used to be the head of Goldman Sachs. Yes, he's now behind bars because of this insider trading scandal that he did when he was a CEO of Goldman Sachs. What happened was he came out of a board meeting where they were discussing the acquisition of a major company, and then he called up his friend, a stockbroker, and he said that this is what is going to happen. You buy the stocks of the other company that Goldman Sachs is going to acquire. This friend of, I think his name was Raja Ramana. He was a trader. What he was, he bought the stocks of this other company that Goldman Sachs was about to acquire. And then what happened? Eventually, the news came out in the market that Goldman Sachs is going to acquire, and the stock price of that other company quickly increased. It went up. Anything. And then, when it went up a lot, then Raja Ramana sold all the shares and made around $100 million in profit, and he gave some money to Roger Gupta as for the insider information now. Then people got to know about it, and then they had a long investigation and court case, and then eventually both of them were convicted, Rajat Gupta and as Rajamana was convicted. Insider trading is not allowed. It is not allowed, but still people do it. People still do it, but it is absolutely not allowed. In coming back to our discussion, in the job profile, you can mention if this job profile is going to have insider information. Now, this is a CEO, isn't it? We will say that this is the CEO is also part of the board of directors. Definitely, he is going to have insider information, or maybe it's also he's an officer. He's an officer with some special information. He has that information. We have to specify that. We may specify that upfront that this is an insider kind of job. Whoever is coming to this job profile, they would know that you are not supposed to divulge information which may impact the stock price. Now, work shift required. Do you need this? Does this job profile need shifts? If yes, you can put it to E. Is it a public job? Public job meaning that the information about this job profile is visible to everybody in the workplace. In this particular tenant, any worker will be able to go into the job profile and view all the information. If that is the case, you can click on public job, but we will not put it as public job. We will just leave it as blank. Now, pay rate type. Now we have included, remember we have included two countries here, us and OK. What is the pay rate? A period type, that you are going to use. Are you going to use salaried, or is it going to be hourly? This are most likely. A CO is going to be a salaried worker. It's not going to be an hourly worker. We will say it is a salaried, and for United Kingdom also, we will say salaried, the salaried employees. Now, characteristics, a difficulty to fill. Here also we can specify whether it is difficult, hard or easy. Let's say it is. It's quite difficult to find a good CEO, and it is, of course, a critical job. It's a critical job. Now here we see that we have the option to put in the compensation grade and grade profile. We will leave this blank for the time being. Once we do compensation, we will come back to our job profile and fill up this information. But as of now, I will leave it as black union membership. Is this CEO going to be a member of a union? If yes, you may select which union he is going to be a part of, he or she is going to be part of. Now, you might say that union is not allowed. We do not allow for unions. In this particular job profile, you may say that, or it may be optional and it may be required for some job profiles. The union membership is absolutely required, especially for blue collar jobs, especially for jobs which are in the manufacturing sector. Sometimes the union membership is absolutely necessary. If it is required, you may click on that, and then the allowed unions that you have in your organization here. These are some of the unions that you may have. Let's say Office and Professional Employees International Union. This worker has to be a part of this particular union. If that is the case, yes, select the union, but in a lot of organizations, unions are not allowed. You may choose either. Then we talk about job exempt. What is a job exempt? Anybody? Familiar with that? This term, job exempt overtime, yes, these are salaried employees and you do not qualify for overtime. An exempt job does not qualify for overtime. If they're not eligible for overtime, this is a concept. In other countries, it may be different. You may be salaried employee, but if you work for extra hours, you may be eligible for overtime in some other countries, but in theirs, if it is a job exempt, then you do not qualify for overtime. Now let's go up, and here are some other things as now job classification in certain countries. US, UK, Australia, and even in Switzerland, Sweden, Germany, they are from the Department of Labor. For their government, they have exact job classifications for each and every paid kind of job. If it can be a CEO, it can be a manager, it can be a technician for each and every kind of job. There is a job classification, and sometimes the pay is dependent on the job classification if for those countries, for those particular countries. If you have a job classification already, then you may use that. You may specify that as part of the job profile. Now let's say I will use something. This 1.2, you see here 1.2 is for the United States of America. Says first or mid-level officials and managers, United States, EEO, US of America. This is a job classification. This is as per the country. If you already have this job classification, mention it. Not all jobs have classifications, but if you have it, yes, you must specify it here. Now, what is the job description? Let's say a CEO is the leader of the organization and will and then we will use some bullet points and then we will say provide a direction to the org and report to the board of directors responsible for well-being of the employees. Something this, you may put in things this, and I said if you want to highlight something a CEO. If you want to highlight this, you can make it as bold. You can change the color. You may change the color and make it a bit more easy to read. You can put it and you can also put in a link. Just I did yesterday. For more information, click on the careers website and in entire careers website, you can put in a link. You can say careers. .google.com. Now under this line, careers website, you have a link. If you click on it, you will be directed to a website called careers.google.com. You can put in links in the job profile. As now let's finish up the things that we were talking here. If I scroll down to the bottom, here we also have compensation codes, workers' compensation codes. Now, this is also something that is very common in some of the countries as okay, say where you have compensation code for the different types of job profiles. Let me show you one example, 8810. Now, 8810 stands for clinical office employees. For us, you see automatically the United States of America is chosen. If you have these kind of codes now, these are dependent on the country. You see every kind of job has a compensation code. You see box spring or mattress, manufacturing pillow, quilt, comforter. Cushion man, every kind of job in different kind of sectors. They have some kind of compensation code if you have it available. If the business user gives you this particular code, configure it. Otherwise, leave it blank for us. It is implemented already. All the countries which have compensation codes, it is already inbuilt. Some of the countries where we have the information, US, Canada, UK, Australia, therefore, for 9 countries, we have this information already if you want to do. For another country and you do not have it, then you may have to configure the compensation codes. But for you, as you can Canada, Australia, it is already config. Then comes this particular section which talks about certifications, competencies, languages, responsibilities, skills, etc. Now, where have we seen this before? When we were creating the position, we have that there, but when we were setting the hiring restriction in a job management organization, we did not see all of this. We did not see certification, competency, education, etc. And there I mentioned that for job management kind of organization, we set this in the job profile. Here it is in the job profile. You will be able to specify these details. You will be able to specify what is the certification required, competency, education, language, etc. Here let's put in a certification. Let's say first thing is first thing. Is you have to create it in the job profile. All first is the job profile. Job profile is absolutely required when you are hiring a worker. You have to specify it in the job profile when you use it, when you use the job profile. In a position, the settings that you have put in the job profile will be automatically copied over to your position. Now, a position gives you a lot of control in the position. You may keep it, you you can import the values from the job profile, or you might change it and create your own in job profile. It is recommended that you put all the details in the job profile, because the job profile will may also be used in a job management kind of organization, and then you don't have the ability to create a position, isn't it there? How would you specify all those details? In it is recommended that you do this in the job profile, that even if you create a position out of it, you straight away select the job profile and you make tweaks to the requirements in their position level. You can override those values in the position. Now, let's select the US of America. Let's search for some predefined certifications. Let's look for this is the Project Management Institute, and let's go for the PMP certification in the US, and I'm choosing the PMP certification. And now if I go to competencies, and then you can put in some competency. You can choose from an exam existing competencies. You can create your own competency as, let's say, customer folk or maybe conflict management. I want this person to be good at conflict management. And what is the target rating? Let's say he has to be proficient. He has to be proficient in conflict management education. Similarly, you can put in something in the education. Let's say I want this person to be a master of business administration. We are looking for a CEO. I want this person to be an MBA. If you want to specify a field of study, MBA in marketing or MBA in something, you can specify that. Let's see if we have it already. You have a marketing, you may say that I want this person to be an MBA in marketing. Languages that this person should know, you can Specify the language and also the proficiency level. Let's say I want this person to be proficient in German. I need this because let's say we are doing a lot of business with our German counterparts. We want they should be very good overall. The proficiency should be fluent overall. This person has to be fluent in German and maybe of also in English, and in English I will want them to be again. Overall should be advanced, they should be quite good in English. Similarly, you can put in values in responsibilities, in skills, in training. Different type of parameters are there, and if you don't have something, if you don't have something in the drop down, you can put it in training. Let's say Workday. Training Workday, Workday basics, and what is the type of training I want them to have done. Let's say a classroom based training. You can configure that as, and this is our job profile. And you see a code has been generated already. 6 of we did not put in this code. This code has been generated. And we said include job code as part of the name. Your job profile is now named 64635.w Chief Executive of. This is our job profile. Let's go to our supervisor. Organization, I think it was called Vantaru for sales. Sales motor sales, we go to staffing. And there we have two positions, training managers. Now let's say I want to change it. I don't want I want one of them to be the CO, not the place for a CO in the sales department. But still, let's say that we want to configure it in that way where this existing position will now be a the CO position. What we can do is we can click on the related actions of the position. We go to position restrictions and we edit the position restrictions. We can edit that. And then once it opens up for editing, we change the name. Let's say we change it to the blue of the CEO because this is now going to be the CEO, and we change the job profile is no longer the training manager. We want it to be the chief executive, and there it is. The moment I choose this, the moment it was. Automatically is the job description changes. From where did this come from? The job description, it came from the job profile absolutely, and the location it did not specify a location in our job profile. That is fine, but you see there will be some parameters which will be inherited from our job profile. If I go to qualifications, they go to qualifications. Now you see qualifications from the job profile. These have been included. Didn't I save the now these? Are the values that we had put in our position, but it says that these are some of the values that it has inherited from the job profile. Now let's click on submit to save this. And now if we look at this particular position restrictions. And let's look at the position overview, and let's go to our hiring restrictions and then qualifications, in qualifications. You will see that there would be something which is filled in from the job profile because those are the values that you would need from the job profile, but as per the position, these are the qualifications, but then there will be some qualifications which will be inherited from this job profile. If you click on the job profile from here, you would be able to see the different character or characteristics or qualifications which are required. You can use the job profile in a position as in the hiring. Restriction of a supervisory organization. Now let me quickly create a job family. A job family. When we configure the business process, there is a business process called edit position. Restrictions. Let me quickly show you. Let me tell you something important since you brought this up. But if I go to staffing for any task for any task, if you see a submit at the bottom of your page, if you see a submit button at the bottom of your page that tells you that it is going to trigger a business process, it is going to trigger a business process whenever you have a submit at the bottom of your page. What is the name of the business process here? Edit position restrictions. Now you may configure this edit position restrictions in a way that it will go for additional approvals. Otherwise, what will happen? Anybody and everybody will keep changing the position restrictions. We don't want that. We don't want that. Want only authorized or approved position restrictions to be in effect. But here, as part of training, we have kept it simplified for each and everything. It doesn't go for approval. But yes, you may configure approvals after. Once somebody makes changes to the position. Restrictions, yes, that can be configured because it triggers a business process, and in business processes we can configure approvals. You make a note of this whenever you see a submit button at the bottom of your page. That means it is going to trigger a business process. And in business process, we may configure approvals. Now let's create a job of a job family, and we call it as the effective date of, let's say, the 15th. And we call it as WO. Jobs. All the different job profiles that we will create, we will put it in this WO jobs. What is the job profile? This is a job profile. We created Chief Executive Officer. We will say this job family is used to group all the job profiles for WWE. Click now. If I go back to this job profile, you would see that the job family is WBU jobs. Now it is part of the jobs job family. You can inactivate this, that it is not used anywhere. You can say that it's no longer active. This grouping is no longer active. You may choose to make it as inactive. If you make it inactive, it will not, you will not be able to use it in any rules or any reports. It will be marked as intact, but it will still be retained in the system. It will not be deleted. Now let's create a job family group. And again, let's give it an effective date, and we will say it do you view all jobs, and here we will say W, and that's it. Click in this job family group, which is WW. All jobs we have included. The job family, which is OU jobs, and within OU jobs, we have the Chief Executive Officer. If I click on Chief Executive Officer again, you would be able to see that this is the job family. And if you click on the job family, you have part of the job family group as, and why do we need to create job family group? A job family group is a collection of job families. It is just for our reporting purposes and for conditional rules that we will write just to organize the hundreds and thousands of job profiles that we will create within Voltage. Let's do a very quick quiz. Job profiles can only have a one-to-one relationship with positions. What it means is one job profile cannot be used in more than one position. False. False, because one job may be used in multiple positions. Great. Order the hierarchical relationship from the most granular to the least granular. Job family group profile. Job profiler, job family, jomly. Correct profile, family, and group. Profile is the most granular, then followed by and then the family group, and then the family group. True or false? A job profile is optional when hiring a worker. False, false, false. A job profile absolutely important. I mean, it is very important. Two things are very important. One is the location of the worker. We have to specify the location of the worker, and we also have to provide the job profile. Your profile is mandatory. We have not seen this. I mean in action. Yet we have not hired a worker yet. We will do that after we talk about and compensation. That's all from my side today. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@uptalk.com.